Welcome to Human Potential at Work, the show where we explore social impact, inclusion, and empowerment of everyone, including persons with disabilities. Your host is Debra Ruh, CEO of Ruh Global Impact and co-founder and chairwoman of Billion Strong, an identity and empowerment organization designed to bring billions of voices of persons with disabilities together. To join the global community and to donate to the cause, visit billion-strong.org. That's billion-strong.org. And now, on to the episode.
Hello, everyone. My name is Debra Ruh, and I'm the CEO of Ruh Global Impact, and I'm also the executive chair of Billion Strong. And Billion Strong, www.billion-strong.org, as a reminder to y'all, is an identity organization to pull our amazing community together with pride and our identities and everything we're doing. So I'm always telling the stories of who is doing what in our industry. And there's so many stories because, we're Billion Strong. But I really liked what Kendra was doing. So today I have Kendra Kroll on the show. Hopefully I didn't say her last name wrong. Y'all know I'm bad about butchered names, but I'm going to let her tell you her name herself in a second. But she's doing some really, really cool things with a product called PortaPocket. And the name of her business is Undercover Solutions. But it's very clever what she's doing. It's something that benefits us all. This morning, I got a great little package with all of these little goodies she sent to me. And we're going to show you some of the goodies. But I just think it's so important to keep highlighting what entrepreneurs like Kendra is doing to really make sure that we're meaningfully included. And so we are going to make this a little bit of a commercial because I want to tell you what she's doing. But I also wonder what you're doing that could enhance what she's doing to enhance us all. Once again, we're stronger together. So, all right, just giving you a little indication where we're going to go with this today. So once again, I'm Debra Ruh, and I'm a mature woman, not an old woman. I've decided I'm not going with that old label anymore. Mature woman, white, gray, and purple hair, red glasses today, red and green top, and I am at our beautiful public library in Henrico, Virginia, which I appreciate that we have a library since my Wi-Fi is sort of yucky. But and I'm so excited about Kendra today and what she's doing. So Kendra, welcome to the program. Kendra, sorry.
Yes, you're perfect. Debra, thank you so much for having me. My name's Kendra Kroll. I'm outside of Chicago in the suburbs here. Beautiful day today. I'm a white Caucasian female with a pair of frameless glasses, dark hair, a scarf that's gray with a little daisy activity, and a purple shirt on today to match Debra's hair with the purple. It's always a good color. So grateful to be here. Thank you for having it.
Yes. And Kendra, tell us a little bit about how you got here, because I know that most of us aren't going to be able to find a real quick path to where you went. So tell us how you got into this field and, what you're doing.
Sure. Thank you. Well, it's kind of a convoluted, weird story that I ended up where I'm doing now, but isn't that way life is in general for all of us? After college, I was interested in the special events industry. So I got into advertising for a couple years, landed at an events business, was there for 17 years, had a baby, basically got forced out of the business for a bunch of men. That's a whole nother subject for a different day. But I found myself at the gym, clearing my head, which I've been doing for years. And this is going to sound crazy, but bear with me. So I'm doing a set of flat bench flies. When you have a weight in each hand, you're doing your set on the bench. And my tampon fell out in the middle of a set. I know it sounds awful. Don't worry, it wasn't the used one. The extra one. It was in my pocket. It
does sound awful.
It does sound awful. Make it impact. Yeah. I love the name, Global Impact. Okay. So you're doing your thing. You're minding your own business. You're doing your, whatever. You're just going about your day. And all of a sudden life has other plans. So anyway, so the stupid thing rolled across the room, if you could visualize it, like landed, 8 feet from the bench. Didn't see it. I was the only woman there. I lost my water bottle like 10 minutes later. I went looking for it, thought it must be back at the bench. So I start walking over there to find my water. And all I see these men walking around this object on the floor, like leaving 5 foot of clearance. Like, what is up with that? So, then I go over there and I realize it was my, my tampon, my extra unused, clean, but yet on the floor tampon. So I was so horrified. I turned into like a beet, like 3 shades of red, and I felt like this loser, like big L on my forehead. And I was so mad. I pick it up. I turn through, I'm all pissed off. And I said to myself, I am so sick of pockets that don't work in our clothes, as a fellow female. You totally get that.
Yes.
And it became my epiphany, like my moment of discovery to think, I'm going to fix this. I've been in the events business, like I mentioned, for 17 years. Then I was in the real estate industry after I had my kids. So I was doing this other stuff. But that was my driving moment. After this happened, I thought to myself, I've got to do something about this. I mean, us women are stuffing things in our bras, up our sleeves, in our socks, in our waistbands. Who hasn't done that? Everybody, right? So I called my husband. I said, I've got it. I've got it. And he's like, what? I was screaming at him. He's like, what are you talking about? You've got a brain meltdown? What do you have? I'm like, and I just screamed at him. I'm like, I've got the moment. I have the idea. So he thought I was insane. And they still think I'm insane 15 years later here. But anyway, it took me about 3 years in development, measuring people's body parts with permission, of course, just to get the sensibility of the range of body sizes, because it was going to be something that you wear on yourself instead of waiting for the manufacturers, which and I know, they don't listen to all of us and our needs, especially with disabled folks with clothing. You know how that is. We need resources. So I measured a whole bunch of soup to nuts humanity and then got it down to a system. So now basically I've designed a system which is patented for allowing people to wear pockets on their person and not relegate things that you need into a purse, bag, or wherever else they went because it's over there. Well, over there is not helping. I want to be over here with it. So that was kind of how it all blossomed. But what I've been gratified for, Debra, and how I connected with you is way back in the day, I have always been an advocate for the disabled community. When I was a child, my best friend, Chris, was profoundly deaf. They didn't know until she was almost 3 years old. Brilliant woman, an engineer, top of her class, smart as a whip, but they didn't know at the time that she had a hearing loss. So she and I grew up together and best friend. She's now an engineer at a university in Ohio, been very successful. But ironically, when I had my child, she was born with a hearing loss. It came full circle. It's so strange. Isn't that weird how the universe talks to you?
It is weird. I've had so many friends I know that became special education teachers and then wind up having a child with special needs.
Right?
So many of those synchronicities. It's fast. And I guess it's not really the universe is just teaching us, but yeah.
Right. Exactly. But I've always been an advocate for folks with whatever challenges that they might have, whether it's hearing loss or like your daughter, beautiful Sarah, with all kinds of other situations that you run across. And anyway, with all my experience in this space, doing this for 15 years now, we've had opportunity to be a helpful resource to other companies and people that just stumble across and find us from whatever avenue. There was a company called, I don't know if you know them, Debra, it's called Stimwave. Have you heard of Stimwave?
No, but I love the name.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were either. They found us, I want to say they found us on our Amazon channel, and they started buying things, and I had to look them up because I hadn't heard of them. I think they're based in Germany. They have some definitely presence in the United States as well. But I looked them up and I found out what they do, which is really interesting. They implant a piece into people with neurological pain to mitigate the issue for whatever joint or situation a person has. But what they needed PortaPocket for was to put the external antenna next to the area of which they just implanted. So they wanted something that was structurally fluid so that it could be put on any part of the body. And that's why they found what we were doing useful to them. So how cool is that? I just thought that was a really interesting application because we never had run up against some company in that space before. So that was one avenue, but also, in the space in the sphere that you and I both are in with disability awareness and folks with different challenges, I had a wonderful woman named Stephanie Thomas, which you may know her. Fabulous. She does styling and she's a phenomenal human being. And she and I chatted for quite some time. She was in California, and she had shared with me about her experience and what she's doing. And she introduced me to the Ability Show, which is, as you know, phenomenal space where all of us participatory in that sphere can be of help and of resource to folks with all kinds of different situations, whether they're wheelchair bound, using a cane or walker, or whatever that might. I had a woman, I love her. Her name is Linda Bannon. She was born with no arms. She had a son with no arms. They have a syndrome, obviously genetically based, but she's a triathlete. Oh my God, I love this woman. She come over and said, "You're not going to believe it, but I want your product, and you're not going to know why, because I can't write and I have no arms, but I want to see my phone on my leg because that's where I want to carry it, because I wear a
Okay.
purse. But what it does, it rotates around my body when I walk, and then it's all behind me. So I don't want it. I want to know where it is because I can see.
Mhm.
I can see you." And so she wanted to buy it and put it right on the front of her leg, which is what she did. And then she wrote the most beautiful signature with her foot that I've ever seen. I mean, better than my handwriting. I mean, no lie. But I love her. She's so dynamic and inspirational and just got the salt of the earth personality, just beautiful person. But I was gratified that she found us, and I was thrilled to be a part of her day-to-day experience and being able to be of value to her. Um, Folks in wheelchairs, again, the same kind of thing. I had a call, a wonderful man named Gordon from Canada called one day, and the first thing out of his mouth, Deborah, was, "I've been looking for you for 10 years."
Oh,
So isn't that the nicest thing?
it's
Oh
a
my God.
nice thing to say, right?
Right? I'm like, "Oh, I'm so glad you found us. I wish it was faster than that." But he said, "I've been in this chair for a decade. I was going to a golf game, driving my car, and somebody hit me from behind, and I've been a paraplegic ever since. But what I have a challenge with, I don't like breast pockets in my shirts because I put the phone in there and I bend and it falls. I
Right.
can't, you know how that goes, right? I can't use the pockets in my clothes because I'm sitting down and you can't get your hands in there because you're bent over the pockets, right?" So he said, "I want a pocket above my knee when I sit in the chair so I can get to my phone. And that won't fall off my lap when I turn my chair down, in a turn mode." So, hallelujah. So I was gratified for that. And again, based on those calls that we've had and people that are telling about these shows, we did a demonstration, we did a booth, we go to the show, we service our community, we enjoy participating and being helpful to those people, all from all walks of life. So I know that was a very long-winded answer to your
Well,
question, but
but it's a good answer. It's a good answer. And it is interesting because I think of myself, who is part of the community. I'm neurodiverse, um, but I'm constantly losing things, and I have a lot of reasons in my head why that's happening. But regardless, but I'm constantly losing things. And the other day, I lost my phone, for example, and my phone was older, and I was thinking of a reason why I had to get a new one anyway, and then I lost it. So
there you go.
so so I went and got another one because I needed it in anyway. But I am constantly not being able to find my stuff. And I love pockets, and I'll wear different outfits with pockets. But the problem is pockets are all different sizes. And as you said, sometimes as if I'm using a wheelchair, which I'm not a wheelchair user, but if someone's using a wheelchair and you're bending over and your phone goes flying out, that's sort of a hassle for all of us. I just accidentally dropped my new phone. Luckily, it was in the library and hit the floor, but we're all doing this all the time. So I was fascinated by what you're doing. And once again, you sent me this beautiful package that I got today, which was all the different sizes. And I'm just fascinated by what you're doing. But at the same time, Kendra, I recently went to it's going to sound so silly, but I went to a conference. I went to the Enabling Summit, which was an amazing conference in Washington, D.C. And I haven't for years been out to conferences because, COVID. And my
Okay.
husband was very sick and stuff. And so what was interesting going to the conference once again was seeing what people are providing as prizes, but also how do you navigate being at the conference when you don't have the stuff you need. And, so not only would your porta pockets have been really helpful as things that you're giving away. Because, for example, Kendra, there was a gentleman there that was giving away these really cool masks that only one, but just to show you the product so that you could still see what you were saying if you were talking to somebody that is hard of hearing or deaf.
Hey,
So,
yes.
and also someone like my daughter with intellectual disabilities benefits by also being able to see your lips moving as well as hopefully hearing you at the same time. So from a couple of different angles, I thought just as a conference attendee, I see major benefits to me, whether I'm a wheelchair user, a cane user, I have my dog with me or what, all the different
Mhm.
categories. But at the same time, I think there's also this wonderful, if you're giving us, little prizes at a conference so that we'll know who you are. I love when you give me something that's very useful. And I said that to you, Kendra. There was somebody giving out, and it seemed like a silly thing, but just a little bottle opener. But that was actually something that was helpful for me because I use it for different tools and I put it on my keychain. So I just wanted to say, if you're a brand watching this, that is also an opportunity for you because we'd love for you to go and tell us what Kendra's doing and, provide these things as a way not only to show what she's doing, but how her products are supporting our community at the same time. So just a little, sorry, make a little commercial
Right.
for you, Kendra, but it's true.
Totally.
Yes. Can you give us some examples of what you're doing?
Yeah. So I have a system here, and I'll show you the different sizes so that you get a better picture. The main difference between this line and everything else out there really is the fact that it's 100% fully modular. So everything works with everything else. It's all completely interchangeable, and it's totally inclusive across all people because every pocket and every band, everything interchanges, and there's no limitations because our bands, let me give you an example here. For example, all of their bands connect at the ends. So if you wanted to elongate them, you simply have the Velcro pieces. You find the one piece and the other. There's you see this is the hook, and you just connect them in sequence, and you can go as long as you need them to be. So everybody counts. Nobody's left behind. 100% of every human being is covered, and it's majorly useful because it can be worn anywhere on the body, under or over the clothing, because it's very streamlined and slim. It's lightweight, super comfortable. It's neoprene. There's pockets that either Velcro attach. Now, don't worry, it's not going to fall off. People get freaked out. Like, do not worry. I've been doing this 15 years, not minutes, every day, all the time. I have never lost anything. Just don't be drunk, though. User error, okay? The teeth go on them, but not the other way around, people. Okay, that file's under probably duh. Okay, we got that. So this is the medium size or 18-inch band, what we call the Essentials kit. Now, this mounting pad here is designed with a purpose. It's a little taller than the rest of it, as you can see. There's a reason for that. It's going to accept any of the small ones where you're basically a wallet. So you can put your IDs, your credit cards. This is very important for when you're out and about. If you're going to a wedding, you don't want to leave your purse on the table or put it in here and get the sweat all over that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to go there. So you can put this on your leg, under your dress, close to your hem. So you have to lift your dress to get to it because you can take it off without even looking at it. You can feel it. You take that off, do your business, put it back. You're done. Okay. This is the Essentials. It's an 18-inch long. The small band acts as an extender piece. Sometimes people want to get the 18 or the 12. This is a 12. 12 is pretty much too small to really be anything other than a wrist or ankle. So I always suggest if you're going to get one thing, get the 18 because all you can do is just wrap it over itself to make it smaller, like so.
Okay.
Now it's an ankle band just as much. So the 12 is more of an extension piece. Does that make sense? Or if you're going to put a wrap around your wheelchair frame, then you don't have too much extra fabric to work with to wrap, then you can do that. That's fine. We also have the long piece. This is an 18. The 12 I showed you, this is 36. This is the longest one, 36, waist or hip. Same applications. It's the same thing. You slide a pocket over the hump for the mounting pad. So the larger pockets have loops for vertical support, so they don't want to fall forward. That's why we have a higher pad height, like we talked about. So when you lace it onto the band instead, stick or slide, the pocket stick or slide, all you do is you lace it over that mounting pad, which I'm doing right now so you can see what I'm talking about, where you leave it. You see what I'm saying? This gives you
Yep.
vertical support. So when you put it on your body, it's not going to pitch forward. That's why it's taller for that reason. Now, if you wanted to put multiple pockets on the band, you certainly could do so. You could put as many ones that loop on there as much as you want, because it's just, it's just slide them on there, multiple sequence. If you want to go there, that's fine. You can get a little bit crazy, but you don't have to be that insane. Just, minimize sometimes is better. Now, size-wise, small, like we talked about, is for the credit cards. Then we have a medium, which is more like a tampon or, makeup, or small insulin pumps. People have insulin pumps for diabetics. We use this, or inhalers. Frequently, those will be used in here. Now, these two are the only ones that are Velcro. So medium and smaller Velcro mount. I also have the medium in a loop mount, which of course I don't have handy right here, but the loop is all, this pocket comes in a loop mount too. We also have a large pocket, which I don't have right here either, but that's a passport size. And then the extra large for Deborah, that she can never lose her phone again, Deborah. You're not going to lose your phone ever. This is the phone. Yay. Now, this version has the extension here for a reason, because we were told by a wheelchair user, wonderful guy named TJ in California. He said, I need a longer flap because my manual dexterity is limited. So if you make that extension for me, which is what we did, extension on the pocket flap, so it's easy to grab onto for those that need that. And then you can insert your phone and wear that, or your passport info, your Vax card that'll also fit in here. Or another way you could do it, Deborah, is you can also just put that inside, and then you don't have to open it at all. You can, as long as you're not going to do a headstand or handstand, cartwheels. No, if you don't need to be upside down, then you can just slide your stuff in there too. Anyway, so it's really nice because you can go from casual, from the plain, with a logo on it, to fancy. And then you can even go to a black tie party. I've had a scarf I could put through the loops of the pocket tied over a party dress. So you can go to a wedding, with a fancy party dress, wear it underneath your dress for your money, your phone over the top, and you're good to go. So
I'm very excited because my son's getting married, and his bride to be, she is of Indian and Burmese descent.
wow.
She just told me I get to wear a sari. So
beautiful.
I don't think so. I don't know if saris have pockets, but
saris don't. Saris don't have pockets. I was in the events business. I know all about the saris, and they again, here we go with this.
Right.
Just not good for your chest with the phone emissions there, and the sweat.
I know. Yeah. I don't want to put technology by my brain or my body, but I am fascinated because not only is it really, really helpful for the community that we both are part of and care about, but it also helps everybody else, which I think is such a win, because I know that I'm always traveling real light, and I don't know why I can't seem to hold on to things lately, but I thought it was a really cool product that you had done. So I was wondering two things. It's a real easy question, and then this one will take you a little bit longer. And you've already answered the second one a little bit, but I'm curious where you ship. Is this something that's available to everybody? So I'll let you answer that. And then also, I was wondering if you could give us a few more examples of how our community, the community of people with disabilities, people living with lived experience with disabilities, are using it. I know your wheelchair users are using it, but gosh, I think what a gift you are to somebody that has their hands full with a cane, or they have a service animal. Now we can put it, you can put things on the service animal, you can put things on your wheelchair. But once again, as Kendra has said, I want my cell phone to be on my knee when I'm in my wheelchair so I can actually use it myself. I don't want it to route around to the back of my knee. That's not going to help me. So I think your products are so powerful for our community. Now, someone like me that doesn't have as many, I don't have as many accessibility needs, even though I am part of this community and I'm neurodiverse. But at the same time, part of the reason why I'm always losing stuff, I'm convinced, is because I'm neurodiverse. I'm convinced that I'm such a space case and I'm so neurodiverse. So I like that you're building it for all human beings, but I was just wondering, once again, where you ship, because this is a global audience. I think if you're doing a conference and you're looking for something cool to give us, please reach out to Kendra, put your logo on there. I proudly will, use your logo. So, but I think more of us need to know about what she's doing, because there's so many ways that these things that you're doing, Kendra, will continue to allow us to be as independent as
Right.
possible. And
Yes.
it's and on one more comment in that, for example, Dr. Lamondre Pugh is a good friend of mine, and he's the CEO of Billion Strong. He also is a person with muscular dystrophy, and often, well, unfortunately, like the last 6 months, he's been having major caregiver issues, people not coming in, getting him out of bed and stuff. So to understand, Kendra, you giving him a little bit more independence. Maybe he can't control whether or not his caregiver is going to come in, but
Right.
maybe he could control having something close to him so he can get it himself. So I just I don't want people to think we're talking about little pockets. Who cares? Well, it's sometimes this difference between you being able to be independent and not being independent. So we
Exactly.
care. We care.
It's exactly right. And little things matter, like the O-rings on the shuttle. Like we know what happened there, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Little things matter. You're
little
right.
things matter a lot. And it's really different when you're that person with a situation. Imagine, like with Stephanie Thomas, without the thumbs, she's trying to button her outfit. Unless you're in her shoes to understand what that's like to try to button without a thumb, you have no idea how much longer and more aggravating and frustrating it can get to be in that situation. So I totally respect what you just said there, Deborah. It's completely correct. Everyone has challenges, situations, and I am so grateful to be able to be of service to everybody who has whatever situation that they run into in their lives, whatever that might be. My mother, for example, here's one instance. My mother's 91, almost 92. Phenomenal human being. I love her to pieces. I'm so grateful she's still with us. She plays piano every day. She's a composer and a musician, but she's 91 and 2, and she lives by herself. And and I'm so glad that she's still got all her marbles and all her intellect and everything. But when she went to her 55th reunion up in Boston, she was at the Harvard. My dad went to MIT. She was at Harvard in '08. Okay. And she was going home from her reunion, and she had a moment in the train station. She had an emergency, a medical emergency. But bottom line, she had to go to the hospital and get a pacemaker installed. And thank God she's fine now. Even, that was how many years ago. But I don't want her to be alone in the house without a way to connect with somebody, right? So what she does now, and she's grateful for it, she uses a PortaPocket and wears her small phone on herself, even in the shower. She'll put it in the shower. I didn't mention this, Deborah, but we do have we have an insert bag, and we have an RFID sleeve. So these two options go into the extra large pocket if anyone wants it. But bottom line, I'm just trying to say waterproofiness. Okay. She hangs it up in the shower because she has a shower chair, but she doesn't want to have a fall and then not be able to access what she needs, which is her communication tool, which is her phone, So in that regard, it's great. I'm grateful and I'm glad to be of service to the older folks, if they're in the house by themselves and not able to, manipulate themselves and get off the couch quickly because it's hard to do that at that
Mhm.
age.
Mhm.
And that is an example. And when you pointed out the service dogs too there, Deborah, people do put them on service dogs or if the caregiver has dogs and they want to just make sure they have the extra poop bags, they put them on the dog for that. There's all the different applications as an example. But we've had people with, again, a variety of challenges, whether they're mobility issues or age related issues or, again, mental challenges about forgetfulness issues. I have
Mhm.
blind. I had a woman, Tracy Hawkins. She's in, where is she? She's down in St. Louis area, Kansas City. And anyway, she was working with a bunch of blind folks, and she brought this over and they really enjoyed it because, once again, you want to have things on your person. You want them on your body. You want to be able to feel where your items are. And so she was bringing this forward to them, and they really felt that that was a useful tool for blind folks. So again, in that space, it's been very helpful. I had an amputee come by my booth. And again, once again, she wanted to be able to have independence and not rely on caregivers all the time, like we were talking about. Sometimes you can't have your person come over, or maybe they're late or whatever. They're not there. You want to be able to be independent, functioning human as much as possible, inclusivity, like your whole motto there and your mission, which I applaud. That's really what it's all about, is trying to give people resources to make them feel more empowered and confident as they go about their day-to-day experience, whatever that might be, whether they're home or away. It just makes life a little bit easier. It's kind of like getting that rock out of your shoe you've been walking around.
That's right.
You know, it's not going to cure COVID or cancer, but it's going to get the damn rock out of there, and it's going to be a huge relief.
I agree.
And we ship everywhere, by the way, to answer your other question, Debra. We do ship globally.
Anywhere? All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
we
Good,
do.
good. And I will say, when you use that example about your mom, in the first place, that's really amazing. Your mom's almost 92 and living by herself. I'm so proud of her, because my generation and the older, we don't want to age in place. We don't want to be sent to the nursing homes.
Right.
We would like to age in place. And how you can age in place is that you can, even at 92, still safely be able to live in your home and take a shower, because if something happens, you have your communications right there. And
Yeah.
just a little context right now. 1/3 of injuries that happen in the bathroom, 1/3 of all injuries happen in the bathroom, 14% of those on the toilet,
Wow.
80% of falls are in the bathroom.
Wow.
So this is a huge issue.
Yeah.
People get in trouble in bathrooms all the time.
All the time.
Generally, when we're in bathrooms, we haven't brought stuff in with us. Maybe we brought our phone in and we put it on the counter or something. But the reality is, this is important to people like me and your mother and all of us that want to live. We want to age in place. We want to be independent.
Right,
We don't want you to take our voice technologies away from us so that we want to be able to say, Alexa, turn on the light. Google, turn on the light. We want to be able to use our devices. So I have my PortaPocket right here, so I know I can get access to my information. If I get in trouble, my children don't have to worry about whether or not, because, Kendra, I just went through, sadly, my husband, my children's father, died. Okay. After it was, and I have had real bad grief, as do my children, but it's caused me very foggy thinking. I'm better now, but I was surprised at how foggy my thinking was. And that's very common with grief. So once again, knowing where my phone is, Kendra, is very important to me. So I know that it would be easy for us to say, this is a pocket, who cares? But it's more than that, because it is going to allow us to be as independent as possible. And that is very important for every one of us. So I just wanted to point that out as well. So Kendra, tell us what your website is. Tell us, I know you're on social media, that's where we met, but I want you to tell people how they can find you, how they can connect with you. Once again, if you're a corporate brand that's listening, this would be great. We would love for you to include this. Just giving us options, just get us one so that we can see how these kind of products really, allow us to age in place. And it's also really good for your employees. If you're somebody that has an employee resource group and you want to, support that employee resource group, this is an opportunity there as well. And then once again, making sure that any caregiver, any individual living with disabilities know about this. I just think it's very important to do that. So sorry, Kendra, just to.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you. One more thing I forgot to mention here, Debra, before I give you the website information briefly. There's one other placement that we're working really hard with when you mentioned the conferences, because I'm actually going to a conference next week it's called IAPA, which is the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. Not exactly in the disabled sphere. However, when I'm
it is. It is.
I was going to say, because I was going to say, well, Morgan's Wonderland, yay for them. And there's another one coming out that's going to be all about, and it should be for everybody. It's again,
but I will say,
right?
Disney is for everybody too. My partner is a former Disney Imagineer, and they have been
wonderful. Okay.
Oh yeah, they've been creating accessible venues for a long time. So
I applaud all of that. And I'm so grateful to be a part of the IAPA organization. The conference is next week, but I'm really working really hard though. And here's another, I guess, opportunity for anyone in the corporate space who would like to bring our resource tools to the collectives, especially in the park spheres, we are here to help people, because not only in the disabled community, but anybody on a roller coaster with their phone, you know full well what happens, and you get hit in the eye. Please don't do that. Those lanyard bags are a risk because they're strangulation devices. Even if they're breakaway, now you beam somebody in the eye and now they're lost property on the ground. These need to be really consciously put in a different place. Not in parks, fine. If you're walking around without getting on a ride, okay. But if you're on a ride, please, they shouldn't be anywhere near a ride, just knowing what could be potentially happening there. But anyway, what I was trying to drive at is, as far as the park space and the opportunities for, again, people in conferences, this really is a helpful, useful tool. You don't only have to have, some women say I'm a purse girl, and because I was telling people, you can be a purse girl, but you can also have this too. It's not mutually exclusive. People have purses, but the purse is over there or over wherever. Or,
I
you
agree.
can't,
And I don't want to carry it all the time.
you
Yeah,
can't
if I'm-
carry it all the time.
Yeah, I
Right?
don't
You're at a conference, you're dancing, you're on a horseback, you're on a bicycle, you're at the gym. I mean, you can't take it on. And you know full well the bag bands are coming out. Conferences, the stadiums that have the concerts, you can't take them in there. They won't allow them in there, right? So there's those bag bands. This is compliant with all of the bag band rules because it fits into the parameters, because it's small. So you are allowed to take this in places that otherwise you can't take what you need in, which includes but by the way, we have an EpiPen pocket. So there's a tall pocket for EpiPens, which I didn't mention. So that was the only one that's
Kendra, something that used to freak me out, which I haven't done this in a while, but my family always loved the roller coasters. Not me, but my family did. I always hated that they expected me to take my purse with my IDs and my money and just put it on a little rolling cart and hope for the best. I always thought, it's not that I don't trust people, but it's like, I don't want to
No,
do
you
that.
shouldn't though. I
I
mean,
mean, do that. But I have done it, and I've done it successfully, but I always did not want to do it. So
yeah,
another reason. There's just so many ways.
It's
But we
just a
also want to support people that are supporting our community.
right. And like you said, I would like to believe in people, and you as an example are good people, and there are good people out there, which I'm grateful and know that that's true. But full well, there's also many that aren't our friends, and you can't rely on just good vibes alone to get your way in the world, because you're going to be up for a real sorry circumstance on multiple occasions. So yes, I'm with you. Don't put your thing in a little cubby. People are inconvenienced by lockers. It's a kind of a pain to go back and forth all the time. It's an expense and it's a time waster, and nobody likes to do that. It's $1,000 phone nowadays. They're expensive.
Yeah. We don't want to use them. So, all right. So Kendra,
the
how
website.
how do people find you? Yeah.
Okay, sure. The website is PortaPocket.com is our main base website. Sure, Undercover Solutions, but it's just more typing, and it's just better to just go to PortaPocket.com. That's our website. You can find us also on Amazon under sports and outdoors, although it's really hard to find our pieces on Amazon. So it's just probably easier to go to our website. Social media a lot on definitely PortaPocket on Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok, all PortaPocket. We have PortaPocket Gal on Twitter.
Okay.
And I think TikTok's PortaPocket Gal instead of PortaPocket. Sometimes I like to say things that might you don't want to put into your business. I mean, I'm polite, but I can be pointed about certain things sometimes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Girlfriend.
I agree. Sometimes we just got to speak the truth. So,
anyway. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on today, Kendra. I think it's a very clever what you're doing, and I appreciate that you're helping our community stay independent. And the website, once again, is www.portapocket.com. And she also has another website, which I didn't write, undercoversolutions.com. But go to portapocket.com, and Kendra Kroll, Kendra Kroll, you can find on LinkedIn as well, which is where we met, because we love LinkedIn.
Yes. Always great to see you again, and for real and light and live sense, right?
Yes, I agree. And I really do appreciate everything you're doing, Kendra. And I look forward to seeing you at conferences, because we definitely need to see what you're doing and learn more what you're doing. And I appreciate what you're doing for our community.
Thank you so much. And you as well. You're a phenomenal person, and
thank you.
Blessings to you.
Thank you. And special thanks to my wonderful producer, Kevin, behind the scenes. And we will talk to y'all next time. Bye, everyone.
You've been listening to Human Potential at Work. To learn more about Ruh Global Impact, visit ruhglobal.com. And to learn more about Billion Strong, an identity and empowerment organization designed to bring the billions of voices of persons with disabilities together, you can join the global community and donate at billion-strong.org. That's billion-strong.org.